It all started last summer in the quiet suburbs of Austin, Texas, where the sun beats down like it's got a personal grudge against air conditioning bills. My name's Jordan Hayes, and I'd just hit my mid-30s, juggling a remote job in graphic design and a growing family with my wife, Elena, and our two kids, Mia and Lucas. We'd moved into this cozy neighborhood called Willow Creek Estates about 5 years ago, drawn by the wide lawns, the community pool, and that promise of a tight-knit vibe. But like most things in life, it came with strings attached, namely the Homeowners Association, or HOA, which I'd always dismissed as just a bunch of busybodies organizing block parties. One sweltering afternoon in July 2024, I was scrolling through my feed, bombarded by all these posts about climate change, wildfires out west, and skyrocketing energy costs. It hit me hard. Why was I still chained to the grid, pumping money into fossil fuels when the Texas sun was practically begging to power my home? Elena and I had been talking about going green for ages, but this time, it felt urgent. Let's do it, I said over dinner that night, my voice buzzing with that rare spark of genuine excitement. Solar panels. We'll slash our bills, cut our carbon footprint, and set an example for the kids. Elena's eyes lit up. She was all in, envisioning a future where our roof wasn't just shelter, but a mini power plant. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of research. I dove headfirst into online forums, watched tutorials until my eyes blurred, and finally reached out to a couple of local solar companies. The first quote came in from Sunbright Energy, a 10-kilowatt system with sleek black panels that promised to cover 80% of our electricity needs. The mock-ups they sent were straight out of a sci-fi dream. Digital renderings showing our ranch-style house transformed, panels angled perfectly to catch the relentless Texas rays. Estimated savings? Over $1,200 a year, plus tax credits that made the upfront cost sting a little less. I printed them out and taped them to the fridge, grinning like a kid with a new toy. This is it, I told Elena as we pored over the designs late one night, wine glasses in hand. We're not just saving money, we're fighting back against the big energy core. The thrill was intoxicating. Visions of energy independence danced in my head, and I even started daydreaming about bragging to my buddies at the next barbecue. But reality has a way of crashing the party. As we moved forward, the solar installer mentioned we'd need HOA approval. No big deal, I thought. Willow Creek's covenants seemed straightforward when we'd bought the house, rules about fence heights, lawn maintenance, that sort of thing. They even had a section on architectural improvements that encouraged eco-friendly upgrades. Benign, right? Just a formality. I submitted the application with the mock-ups attached, expecting a rubber stamp. Days turned into a week, and then the email arrived from the HOA board president, Marjorie Clinty, a retired accountant who'd lived in the neighborhood since the 90s and ruled the meetings with an iron fist. Dear Mr. Hayes, it read, while we appreciate your interest in sustainability, your proposed solar installation violates Section 4.2 of the covenants regarding aesthetic harmony. Panels must not be visible from the street, and any rooftop additions require unanimous board approval. My stomach dropped. Aesthetic harmony. These panels were modern, low-profile, nothing like the clunky eyesores from decades ago. I fired back a polite response, attaching articles on how solar boosts property values and citing Texas's right to solar law, which was supposed to protect homeowners from unreasonable restrictions. But Marjorie wasn't budging. She scheduled a board meeting, and suddenly, our little eco-dream turned into a neighborhood showdown. The meeting was held in the community center on a humid August evening, the kind where mosquitoes swarm like uninvited guests. I walked in with Elena, armed with printouts of studies showing solar homes sell for 4% more on average, and testimonials from other Texans who'd gone solar without a hitch. The room was packed. About 24 neighbors, some I knew from waving hello while walking the dog, others I'd never met. Marjorie opened with her spiel about preserving the uniform charm of Willow Creek, painting my panels as a potential blight that could tank everyone's home values. We can't let one family's experiment disrupt the entire community, she declared, her voice dripping with that faux concern. That's when the drama ignited. My neighbor across the street, Tom River, a burly contractor with a pickup truck that guzzled gas like it was going out of style, stood up first. Jordan, I get you're all about saving the planet, but those shiny things on your roof? They'll make the whole block look like a factory. What about my resale value when I retire? Murmurs rippled through the crowd. I shot back, heart pounding. Tom, come on, climate change isn't waiting for resale values. We're talking real savings and clean energy. Plus, the law's on my side. But then Sarah Patel, the young mom next door, chimed in hesitantly. I support green energy, but what if it sets a precedent? Next thing, someone's putting up wind turbines. The room erupted into cross-talk accusations flying about selfishness versus community spirit, environmental hypocrisy from folks with gas-guzzling SUVs, and even whispers of legal threats. I felt my naive optimism shatter like glass. I'd assumed everyone would cheer us on after all. Who wouldn't want a greener world? Sustainability was supposed to be a no-brainer, a unifying force. But here I was, defending my right to harness the sun against people I'd shared holidays with. Elena squeezed my hand under the table as tensions peaked. Marjorie called for a vote, and it was a nail-biter 3 in favor, 4 against. Denied. The high of those initial quotes crashed into despair. That night, lying awake, I replayed it all, my blind faith that good intentions would prevail, the shocking resistance rooted in fear and inertia. Was I the idealist fool, or were they the short-sighted ones clinging to outdated norms? Undeterred, we didn't quit. I dug deeper, consulting a lawyer specializing in HOA disputes. Turns out, Texas law indeed limits restrictions on solar if they're not unreasonable, and we appealed to the State Energy Commission. Weeks of back-and-forth emails, heated phone calls, and even a petition signed by a handful of supportive neighbors followed. The climax came at a follow-up meeting in September, where I presented expert testimony from a real estate appraiser debunking the value drop myth. Tom grumbled but stayed silent. Sarah flipped her vote after reading up on solar incentives. Marjorie's face turned beet red as the board reluctantly approved with conditions, like screening the panels from view. Victory tasted bittersweet, laced with the realization that change isn't handed out, it's fought for. Fast forward to installation day in October. The Sunbright crew arrived at dawn, and by dusk, our roof gleamed with potential. The first bill post-solar? Slashed by half. But the real win was the shift in the neighborhood conversations sparked about community solar gardens, and even Tom admitted over beers that he might consider it someday. My eco-journey taught me that sustainability isn't just panels and wires. It's navigating human hurdles, challenging assumptions, and pushing through controversy. Now, looking back from this crisp fall in 2025, I wonder, are HOAs guardians of community aesthetics or outdated barriers to progress? Should individual rights to green energy trump neighborhood harmony, even if it sparks division? And honestly, is fighting climate change worth alienating your neighbors, or should we compromise more? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you side with the eco-warriors or the traditionalists? Hit that like button if you've battled an HOA, and subscribe for more real-life stories on turning dreams into reality. What's your take? Would you go solar despite the drama?